Shady is a strategic quality leader with more than 25 years experience in the automotive industry, having worked with the global OEMs, including General Motors, Stellantis, Fiat Chrysler, FAW, and NIO. He has a proven track record in quality digital transformation, startup initiatives, and supplier development. Shady also holds a bachelor degree in automotive engineering and a master degree in strategic management. He is a Six Sigma black belt and winner of the ASQ Quality Professional Award for Egypt in 2019. So again, another quite experienced professional. And as you can see, we are trying to explore the concept of artificial intelligence in some of the main industry, in this case, automotive, the road to quality 4.0. Thank you, Shady, and I leave the stage to you.
Thank you, Giorgio. It's my pleasure to be here in this valuable session, and I believe the presentation that I see is really valuable and really add value for us. And ASQ always share best practice with the members, and this is something I really appreciate. Can we go to next slide, please? So as Giorgio mentioned, that I work for automotive industry, and this really through the history, automotive industry always in forefront of quality improvement. Since the history, when we start this lean manufacturing and lean excellence from Toyota production system, it was led by automotive industry, Six Sigma best practice and implementation at Ford, Red X success story with General Motors. So automotive industry always in forefront, and this because the product is very complicated. So is a product that consists of around 1,600 parts. So complication and complexity of the product put pressure on the industry to improve. So in this slide, I share with you the response of quality to industrial revolution, because all the quality improvement and development was a response for what really happened in the industry. So when you see the revolution in the industry, from first revolution, second, third, and fourth, there always be response from the quality professional and quality management system. So we see with the first industrial revolution before 1890, the focus was on the production itself. Volume and quantity was much more important than quality, and at this time we focus on measurement and inspection. So going with quality 2.0, we start implementing a standard and quality standard and improve the scrap and repair. So the big jump happened in the quality 3.0, where we start to introduce the customer satisfaction, and standardization becomes the backbone of the industry and also the ISO procedure. So we go with quality 4.0, which mainly focus on digitalization and process design, and what we call built-in quality, where we build the quality in the design and in the manufacturing system. So the main objective that I present this slide, so for all our participants to think about their organization, which level they are working in. And as my colleague Jan was explaining, that we need to go through assessment before we decide or before we take a decision to go for quality 4.0. We need to have deep assessment. We need to have assessment for our readiness, mainly for IT infrastructure, for our supply base, and as Nancy mentioned, the human side and the culture. Why is this very important? Because if we have significant investment in our company or our manufacturing for digitalization and industry 4.0 and quality 4.0, but our supplier is still using manual operation and manual information, and this happened really in our region in the Middle East. We see several suppliers still behind in our quality system or in the industrial system. So to get the benefit out of quality 4.0, we need to go through this deep assessment and ensure the readiness of our company. So when we make the readiness and we see that our human resources are not ready, what we should do? We need to go through reskilling and upskilling of our team through significant or very well focused training and development system. When we start to make selection process, and this when I talk about quality 4.0, I don't talk about digitalization or artificial intelligence, I talk about holistic system. So when we start working with quality 4.0, the supplier need to be connected. The dealer after sales need to be connected. So we cannot work in silo anymore. And this is something sometimes we make jokes in this industry, because sometimes we see the defect communicated very fast on the social media like Facebook and other platform before even it reach to the manufacturing or production facility. So social media also put a lot of pressure in our industry to improve and to migrate fast to quality 4.0, because our consumer behavior have been changed. Consumer protection law have been changed. And later in the case of General Motors that I will share today, I will show you how quality defects can change the industry itself. Can we go to the next slide, please? So I think these tools are very well known for all our professional and participant today, and Jan make really very deep explanation about this tool. But knowing the tool, I think is easy and we can read it, but how we implement the tools and how we make this tool achieve result, this is the most challenging part. So quality 4.0 is all about integration of this technology together with the traditional quality management system. We cannot have new system. We need to upgrade the system what we have. I just give quick example. Before, when we work with ISO and have this manual operation and this paper report and take very long time for approval when we need to change procedure. But with this improvement in data management, we can use all this as electronic quality management system. So ISO still will be there, but through electronic system where the approval can be done electronically, where the change of the procedure can be done electronically, everything will be done. Even like the daily report and daily quality report, we still have it. But as Jan mentioned, it's not like monthly report or weekly report, is live report. We can see 24/7. So what I really need to emphasize, will not make new system. We migrate to quality 4.0 through integration of the technology with our traditional quality management system. But the migration here in the culture also need to be done from reactive mode to proactive, after that to predictive mode. So this migration is really important. And two lessons learned here from my experience that I see when I start to work on different companies in the industry, especially the supply base. People make digitalization for what they really have, but this is a big waste of time and money. Because before we go through digitalization journey, we need to eliminate the variation of our process. We need to reduce the waste and eliminate the waste of our process. We cannot digitalize what we really have. We need to improve what we have. We need to eliminate waste through lean tools. We need to reduce the variation through Six Sigma process. After that, we migrate to quality 4.0 and digitalize the quality system. And this very important lesson learned, I learned through working in General Motors. So before we go to digitalization, we assess the system and the production lines that we have. So we eliminate the waste, we reduce the variation, then we start our digitalization journey. Some also important lesson learned here that I need to highlight, what we call no one size fit all. We cannot take the quality 4.0 roadmap and we make it in the organization, because the implementation is really different from a small organization to big organization. For big organization, we can build our own system, our data center, because there is ROI. All of us work on profitable organization, so we need to ensure that we generate profit for our organization. So quality is one of the center of generating profit through reducing the warranty, reducing the cost of quality. So what we do for a small organization? For a small organization, we go through subscription system. Many service providers these days provide system where you can subscribe per month or per year, even for dashboard, for camera system, for visual inspection, even for robots. Some company really provide leasing robot or renting robots. So this will help us to reduce the initial cost of quality 4.0, because quality 4.0 and this automation and digitalization have very high initial cost. So rather than not implementing this industry 4.0 and quality 4.0, we need to go more into subscription model and subscription system to reduce the initial cost. Can we go to next slide, please? So why we adopt 4.0, and this is what I highlight. We need to ensure that we generate cost and we generate profit for our organization. From our industry, in automotive industry, some organization reach around 30% improvement on first time quality, on scrap, on cost of repair, and on warranty. So my recommendation, through my experience, when we start project, and I think yes also highlight on this, we need first to go through pilot. We cannot implement this system across the organization for the first time. We need to implement through pilot, through one area first. And if we have some, and this is what I learned also from Korean automotive industry, when they have several projects for digitalization, which project we choose? The project with the highest ROI. This is very important for us. When we start to choose quality project or quality 4.0 project, we need to select the project with higher ROI. This is really important. At the end, we need to ensure that quality organization can generate profit through reducing quality defect, can reducing the warranty, can reducing the scrap. This is really helpful as a quality professional to include this in our decision. Can we go to next slide? So today I will share with you two use cases from General Motors and BMW. And I mainly choose these two companies because I work with them, so I can have some personal reflection from my experience. But I need to highlight that there is no confidential information or sensitive information according to our code of conduct in ASQ. All this information are published on the website. Even the photos we take from the website, all these cases are published in the internet. So please, if you have any more information or you request further, maybe after the session, I can share with you. Next, Georgie. So the first, I talk about the use case of BMW. BMW, one of the most technological company in the automotive industry, and they have really good implementation of industry and quality 4.0. But when they migrate from the traditional quality system to quality 4.0, as Nancy mentioned, they use the culture as a foundation for this development and this migration. One of really good system on BMW system called Drive is related to HR, where they hire fresh grad from university and they work every 2 months in one of the function for 2 years before they have been assigned to one of the organization or one of the function. Why this happen? Because it's very important to break the silo in a big organization. When we work in big organization or big multinational organization, sometimes the organization work in silo. Quality work in silo, manufacturing work in silo. So to break this silo, we need to ensure we have quality communication. We need to ensure that our team and our professional really understand how the cross-function team can work together and how the function work together. So this is one of the best practice I appreciate and I can share with you today. This system, which is called Drive, is HR system where the employee work on different function before you start. And I believe we can do similar also in quality function. So when we start hiring inspector or engineers working on quality function, they can work in quality assurance, quality operation, quality engineering for a few weeks. This cross-function rotation can help them to see the whole picture, because later on, when they work with the digital system, they really know how the real life and how the real work is really doing. And BMW also work on a very uh, good and effective system to upskill and reskill their task force, where they introduce this technology through standard training to upgrade the level of their employee. So as I mentioned, training is very important, and the transformation from traditional quality system to quality 4.0 need to be accompanied by transformation in the culture, not only transformation into the system. Can we go to next slide? So this is really one of the best system and technologies that we usually use in automotive industry, which is very powerful, which is visual inspection, image processing using AI, where we have camera to inspect the product 100%. This is really new to the automotive industry, but it's not new to other industry like FMCG. I see in Unilever and Procter & Gamble have this system very long time ago, as I mentioned, because the production is fast. So this system is already there in other industry, but have been adopted recently in automotive industry. And this inspects the whole car, gaps and flashness, 100% all the time, where you can have this report 100% 24/7. So this visual inspection is really helpful and is expensive also, using industrial camera resistant to the high temperature. This also very high cost. But when we talked before about university, this can be good opportunity. Then we can collaborate with national university in our region and our city, where we can develop low-cost solution. And I really have some experience that I work with local and national university in Egypt to develop low-cost solution for image processing, and it's really effective. So I also encourage you to follow this practice and cooperating with national and local university. And this will be a win-win situation where you develop the graduate for the future technology, and also you can find low-cost solution. And also this image processing help us to not only to capture the defect, but also to repair the defect. The second photo, as you can see some polish and some repair on the system itself, which communicated and integrated with the image processing. So where you have the problem, the car will go automatically to repair area and the robot can repair. So this system is a very sophisticated and really improved quality significantly within BMW. Next slide. So this system also is very interesting. It's called Gen AI 4Q. This system worked for BMW for new product. When you see the second photo, the inspector have the camera where he need is like Google Glass, where he can see. This usually used in pre-series production or pre-production and pilot, where the inspector can communicate immediately or timely with R&D center, because you know that many functions in automotive industry are very centralized, like R&D and engineering. So this will help operational team and manufacturing in different city and different region to communicate immediately and remotely with R&D center, with central manufacturing, and this really helpful. And this is what I say in the beginning. We need to use the tool based on the problems that we have, based on the time that we have. So we have product launch, we need to see how we can use this product in the launch. And I worked before with Honeywell on similar application, and it was really helpful. And what also BMW do here through data analytics and big data, when they have new product, they have some recommendation from the system for the checklist and inspection list. This based on the model, based on the dimension, based on the capacity of the engine. Is the engine electric or ICE engine? So this also very important, because usually when we have new product, maybe we don't know all the issues or we don't know what we can face. But as I mentioned before, that is migration from reactive to predictive. So we need to predict through risk assessment, through FEMEA or DFEMEA, what will be the failure modes that we can face. And this system, Gen 4 or Gen AI 4Q, can predict and can give some prediction for the risk from the database or failure mode effect analysis for both process and for design. So to finalize the takeaway from BMW, before we go through the migration to quality 4.0, deep assessment need to be done. Upskill and reskill for our task force need to be done also to ensure that we have a ready task force, so we can have the maximum out of this investment in quality 4.0. Next slide, please. So I go for General Motors. General Motors is one of the best company working on quality. I worked for General Motors 18 years in China, in Egypt, in different region. During this use case, I was working on quality, and I really experienced the migration and transformation. This case was very famous. The face of photo for Mary Barra, the CEO of General Motors in the Congress in USA. And it was really big safety recall, around 1.6 car, is known as fault ignition. The problem was easy, it was not difficult. It's easy to repair. Root cause analysis was really easy. But the traditional way of quality management didn't allow General Motors to take fast decision, because they don't have very effective traceability system. Because you have problem, but you need to predict this problem or this part in which car. Can we go to next slide, please? As you see, at this time, this public crisis, which recall 1.6 million car for ignition switch, was the highest in the history. And that's what I say before, that this case really changed the recall system, not only for General Motors, for the automotive industry in United States, to ensure that they have governance for this safety recall. So the traditional way of managing warranty and quality didn't allow General Motors for traceability, which component from which supplier at which car. And even when GM take the decision of recall for all this car, which is 1.6, it was massive recall with very high administration cost. It's really take very long time to recall all the car. So we can go to next slide. But recently there is some recall, I think last year for General Motors with Chevrolet. But this recall was very significant, and this recall was very effective, done in a very short time, very accurate, and very efficient. But what was the difference? It's the same company. What was the difference? The difference at this time is the real-time data, where GM have OnStar platform and program its own car, and this OnStar can monitor and have sensor remotely, can monitor all the car all the time. And this usually happen now with electric vehicle, where the OEM can monitor the temperature of the battery, for example. Now we are working UAE, I work in UAE, so we have very high temperature in summer. So the system is monitored the battery temperature and volt 24/7 remotely, and even can send message to the end user and can send message to the service center to recall the car. So data analytics and big data is really very helpful to take a smart decision in a very short time. And I think we highlight on this. We can take decision as a quality professional, but we need to take smart decision at the right time. And what happens, they call it is a surgical prevention. It's like a surgery. They focus on some car on some time. Even this system of OnStar can make some change in the car itself. For example, it can reduce the charging of the battery. It can make some limitation on the speed to ensure the car safe and the customer is safe. So the takeaway of General Motors, that having big data and having this data analytics can help us to take right decision on the right time with optimum cost. This really important, and we need to implement this in our company. And as I mentioned, big company like General Motors can have significant investment on data center and in automation. But a small company need to find another approach, which is subscription model. And this subscription model can help us to reduce the initial cost. But for me, digitalization now become must and become very valuable for the organization. Many other system General Motors are using, maybe I can share with you some system called BU-GM, best practice under GM, where each country, each function put the best practice and the lesson on database electronically, where everyone can access all the time. This is really helpful. Another system or another learning similar to BMW is called GM University, where each level in the organization have minimum learning requirement, even as a quality inspector, auditor, or engineer or manager. We have some responsibility. We have roles and responsibility, especially for quality. To take this quality decision, you need to have minimum information or minimum knowledge. Very similar to Six Sigma, black belt or green belt. So you need to have this minimum requirement for everyone in the organization. I believe this is really important. At the end, as I mentioned, human side is very important in the migration to quality 4.0. Many organizations focus on the hardware and hard side, the robot, the sensor, the camera. Many organizations ignore or don't give the proper attention and care for the human side or the soft side. So the culture is the foundation. The culture is the foundation to build this quality 4.0. And one of the quotes that I need to close with is for Peter Drucker when he say, culture eats the strategy on the breakfast. So we usually say this in our leadership meeting. Culture can really eat the strategy. If you don't ensure or if you don't customize the program to support the culture, this culture can eat your industry or quality 4.0 in the breakfast. Thank you so much for your time, and I'm open for the question during the panel. Thank you. I think you are mute, Georgie. We can't hear you.
Yes, I just closed my microphone to not to disturb you. Thank you very much. I was saying for your presentation has been an insightful presentation in an industry that impacts everyone, because more or less everyone can see how much the automotive industry is present in our daily life. But having an insight from someone with your experience from within the industry is revealing word that I don't know how many of us has experience of. So it's been very useful to listen to your presentation.